Absolutely. Super happy for him and for the church. Like, New Birth really needs a first lady.
Yes.
That's important. And we need New Birth to be happy with Jamal because he has a lot of tuition to pay. All of my girls will be in college.
Right.
So.
A megachurch pastor with a history that reads like a soap opera just walked down the aisle again. And this time, the woman standing beside him might be the most controversial choice he's ever made, because when Pastor Jamal Bryant married Dr. Karri Turner on November 15th, 2024, at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Stonecrest, Georgia, it wasn't just a wedding, it was a statement. And his ex-wife Gizelle Bryant from the Real Housewives of Potomac had a whole lot to say about it. But before we get to what she said, you need to understand the full story, because the layers here go deeper than anyone expected. Let's start with the wedding itself. On a Friday evening in November, Jamal Bryant and Karri Turner, who holds a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award and earned her doctorate from Emory University's Candler School of Theology, said their vows at the Waldorf Astoria in Atlanta. And nothing about this ceremony was traditional. Karri showed up in a custom pink crystal-embellished jumpsuit with a flowing chiffon train designed in collaboration with Joyce Williams, Gisela Couture, and the Fabric Boutique. Jamal matched her energy in a deep green suit with sequin detailing from Stan Lion clothing. Pink and green everywhere, their Alpha Kappa, Alpha, and Omega Psi-Phi sorority and fraternity colors on full display. And if that wasn't enough, Karri switched into a form-fitting white gown for the reception because, in her own words, she dresses for herself and now her man, not people. The hashtag for the night? Bettin Bryants, which immediately started trending across social media. They posted clips and photos everywhere, and Jamal described the whole thing as a fairy tale and a dream come true. He told his followers that God brought him the most brilliant and beautiful woman in the universe. But while the Bryants were celebrating, the internet was doing what the internet does, digging. See, this wedding didn't come out of nowhere. 5 months earlier, during a Sunday service at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, the same Stonecrest, Georgia megachurch once led by the late Bishop Eddie Long, Jamal proposed to Karri right in front of his entire congregation and millions of live-stream viewers in May 2024. He stood up there and told everyone that sometimes your blessing is right in front of your eyes and you don't even know it. He talked about watching Karri walk across the stage to receive her doctorate and feeling like God was telling him to stop waiting. He declared that after 5 years of being their pastor without a first lady, the church was finally getting one. The congregation erupted. His children were reportedly happy. Even Gizelle, his ex-wife and cast member of the Real Housewives of Potomac on Bravo, commented on his Instagram post with congratulations. But here's where it gets interesting. Before that proposal, before the lovey-dovey social media posts, Jamal and Karri were already making headlines, and not the kind either of them wanted. Earlier in 2024, the two of them were spotted together at an ice cream shop in Florida, and when those photos hit the internet, people lost it. Karri was called all kinds of names, none of them flattering. She immediately went on the defensive, explaining that she was in Florida to finalize her doctoral program cohort, which Jamal had helped her set up. She said his cohort was there, she came down the last day, and it was strictly professional.
When we got to the ice cream parlor, I was not there because I was kicking it with him. I was there because we were solidifying my doctoral program. That was the reason why I was in Florida at the time. His cohort was there. I came down the last day so that I was able to finalize everything with getting my cohort off the ground, which he was so instrumental.
They brushed it off as a working meeting and nothing more. But people weren't buying it. And according to reports, that scandal actually brought them closer together. They started dating privately after that, keeping things quiet while they worked on a few things before going public. Now, to understand why everyone was so suspicious, you need to know about Jamal's past. And that past starts with Gizelle Bryant. Jamal and Gizelle got married in 2002. At the time, he was already building his name as a pastor at Empowerment Temple AME Church in Baltimore, and she was working at the NAACP National Headquarters in Baltimore. Together, they had 3 daughters, Grace and twins Angel and Adore. For a while, they looked like the ideal power couple in the church world, but behind closed doors, things were falling apart. Gizelle has spoken openly on The Real Housewives of Potomac about how Jamal repeatedly stepped out on her during their marriage. She said it happened over and over again, and he was already pastoring at the time. In season 1 of RHOP, she was candid about the devastation it caused. And it wasn't just the cheating itself, there were allegations that Jamal fathered a child outside their marriage. Reports say the mother was paid to stay quiet about it. Gizelle was so shattered by everything that she reportedly checked herself into a facility to cope with the emotional fallout. By 2009, they were officially divorced. Jamal himself later admitted on his own talk show The Preachers in 2016 that one of his biggest regrets in life was single-handedly destroying his marriage and the impact it had on his daughters. Those were his own words. But the story doesn't end with the divorce. Around 2019, Gizelle and Jamal surprised everyone by announcing they were giving their relationship another chance. On The Real Housewives of Potomac, Gizelle talked about seeing real maturity in him. She praised his humility and said their communication was on a completely different level.
I think I've seen so much maturity in him. He has an overwhelming sense of humility and humbleness. And I think that we communicate so much better now. I mean, our communication is on point.
She seemed genuinely optimistic that they had both grown enough to make it work this time around. Their daughters, however, weren't as enthusiastic. On the show, the girls showed visible resentment toward their father because of his history. Even Gizelle's own father, Curtis Graves, was skeptical, famously calling Jamal out for his past behavior. But Gizelle pushed forward, believing they could learn from what went wrong. Then, just like that, it was over again. Gizelle announced the reconciliation wasn't going anywhere. She blamed it on the distance. She was in Potomac, Maryland, and Jamal was in Atlanta, and the pandemic making it impossible to see each other regularly. But fans were confused. These two had been married for 7 years and had 3 kids together. A long-distance stretch during COVID was what ended it. Something felt off. And what happened next at the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 5 reunion in December 2020 would change everything. That's when Monique Samuels showed up with a literal binder, a binder full of receipts.
I mean, Jamal and I have been through a lot. You know, there's a lot that people say, and we're.
But when y'all were
understand it.
announcing that y'all got back together, he told his girlfriend at the time that it was just reality TV and it wasn't true.
How do you know that? How do you know?
Because the lady who he's been dating for years,
She's been waiting to drop these receipts for a while.
She's a pastor, and she reached out to me a long time ago. She sent a bunch of screenshots, pictures of him in her bed and everything else. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going there. I don't play dirty. But
Sounds like
since
rumors.
Gizelle likes to play dirty,
like rumors, right?
I'll go ahead and return since I'm here right now. But he's definitely been talking to another woman, and it's clear conversations. And if you like to see him, I got him in my little receipt book right.
While the reunion was expected to focus on Monique's physical altercation with Candiace Dillard, it was her takedown of Gizelle and Jamal that stole the entire show. Monique said that since Gizelle had come for her family and her relationship all season, she was coming right back. She opened that binder and read aloud text messages that were allegedly sent to her by a woman from Jamal's congregation, a female pastor who claimed she and Jamal had been seeing each other even while he was trying to reconcile with Gizelle. Monique read the texts out loud.
She said, for me,
Make
it's
up
not
whatever.
a good idea to travel to Atlanta if you're working on putting your family back together again. He says, what are you talking about? She says, what am I talking about? And she screenshots the actual article.
Are we really listening to this? This is the
Husband
same
Jamal
person
Bryant
who tried to
back
run and
together
cry
rumors.
wolf to Bravo
He said,
because somebody was spreading
rumors.
true about her
What
family.
are you talking about?
Can we not?
It's
Can we
not
not?
real. It's reality.
No, it's not.
TV.
She read a phone number. Bravo host Andy Cohen asked Gizelle if that was Jamal's number, and Gizelle confirmed it was. Monique didn't hold back, saying things about Jamal that nobody expected to hear on national television. Gizelle tried to play it cool, later calling the binder a kindergarten scrapbook of lies. But the damage was done. Jamal went on Instagram Live afterwards with his own binder, spent nearly 25 minutes denying everything, and declared he would never appear on anything connected to the RHAP franchise again. Now here's the part that has people connecting the dots. Gizelle later said she already knew about the other woman Monique referenced, that Jamal had told her everything. But the woman widely speculated to be the one in those receipts, many believe it was Karri Turner. The timeline lines up. Karri was working at New Birth, she and Jamal were within close proximity, and internet speculation has long suggested that Jamal and Karri were dating during the period when the reconciliation with Gizelle fell apart, potentially being the real reason things didn't work out between them. Fast forward to 2025, and the tension between Gizelle and Karri finally boiled over. During RHOP Season 9, which aired in January, the cast was in Panama when someone brought up the wedding. Gizelle was asked about physical comparisons between her and Karri, and instead of keeping it diplomatic, she leaned all the way in. She said she'd seen Karri in person, met her, and that Karri was not in her league.
I've seen her in person. I've met her.
Okay.
Not in my league.
That clip went everywhere. Karri fired back through Instagram, posting a message that read, "Put me at the table where women support other women. Being a mean girl ages you, honey. And who has time for that when you can be living, loving, and aging gracefully?" She later deleted it, but the screenshots were already circulating. And then there's the comparison that won't go away. The internet has been relentless about pointing out how much Gizelle and Karri resemble each other. Similar build, similar look, and both women are members of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, part of the Divine Nine Black Greek letter organizations. Fans have gone as far as saying Jamal picked someone who studied the blueprint. Whether that's fair or not, it's a conversation that keeps coming back every time either woman posts anything. Some say Jamal clearly has a type, others say it goes deeper than that. What makes this whole thing even more fascinating is who Karri Turner actually is beyond the headlines. She's originally from Fort Worth, Texas. She holds a political science degree from Morris Brown College, a Master of Divinity from Emory University's Candler School of Theology, and she completed her doctorate in ministry in 2023. She's an ordained clergywoman, a published author with books like She's Lit and Girl Bible, an entrepreneur who owns the online boutique shop 180 West, and she runs a mentorship initiative called The Nudge. In September 2024, she was honored with a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. This isn't someone who came out of nowhere, but her fashion choices as First Lady have raised eyebrows too. She's been spotted in form-fitting dresses and sheer outfits that have traditional churchgoers whispering about whether her style fits the role. Karri has made it clear she's not changing for anyone, so where does that leave things? Jamal Bryant is a man who publicly admitted to destroying his first marriage, a man whose own daughter struggled to forgive him on national television, a man whose reconciliation with their mother fell apart under circumstances that still feel murky, and now he's standing at the altar again, calling it a fairy tale. Karri is confident, accomplished, and unbothered by the noise. Gizelle is still speaking her mind and not backing down, and the congregation at New Birth, carrying the legacy of Bishop Eddie Long, is watching all of it unfold in real time. The real question isn't whether this marriage will last. It's whether the patterns of the past have truly been broken, or if everyone's just waiting for the next chapter to write itself.